Hi and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again. Today we will be talking about the reasons why some people are hesitant to go seek professional help when they face psychiatric issues. Now, there are many reasons why people don't seek psychiatric professional help, and I'll just be covering some of them that I know of and that I experienced myself. So I hope that you don't think that these are the only reasons out there. There will definitely be many more reasons depending on the different people. So, if a reason that you know is not covered by me in this video, please feel free to share it in your comment section so that I get to know about it as well. And for all you know, maybe I can offer some sort of suggestion or help to get over that problem. Number one, not knowing that what they are experiencing is a sign of psychological distress. That means they don't know when it is a problem and when they should see a professional. For example, there is just the normal kind of stress we feel in day-to-day life. And then there's the kind of stress where you are burning out and you are feeling depressed, or anxiety starts setting in and you don't realize it because you don't know how to differentiate it, or it has become a daily occurrence that is your norm, so then it becomes a situation where you don't know that you're having a problem and you don't know that you need professional help. Because you see, mental health is not like physical health where the symptoms are pretty obvious. I'm not saying for all issues, but for most issues the symptoms are pretty obvious when it comes to physical issues. But for mental health, it really depends on the person. How much can a person take? How much emotional strength does a person have? Or how much stress tolerance does a person have? So these things vary from person to person. So there is no definite guide to tell you that if you are, coughing, having a runny nose, and you have a fever, you may be having flu. You don't have something like that to tell you you're having stress or anxiety or just sad or depressed. There's a lot of things like that which makes people unaware that they need professional help. That that's the first hurdle that most of us face when it comes to psychiatric issues. We don't know when it is too much. I've not shared much about my story, but I started experiencing trauma since I was about 10 years old, and this was a very significant issue for me. But I never knew that it was trauma. I never knew that I was facing psychological distress because I was only 10 years old. I was facing issues at home. I see things happening at home. I experience things, and then but for me it's like, this is my home, this is my family, this is how it is with everyone else. Because at that age, it's not like I didn't try to talk to other people and tell them what's going on. It's just that when I did, people didn't believe me because they were like, oh no, there's no way your family would be that bad, like you'd be in such a bad situation. Nah, it's okay. They never took me seriously, and they'll be like, oh, maybe it's you were just taking it too seriously, maybe you are too sensitive, why don't you try this and that. So nobody validated anything that I was feeling, so that naturally added on to the whatever I was already experiencing. That is one of the reasons why I have so many issues as well. Growing up like that, you get used to having to deal with a lot of stress on a daily basis. You are also always on alert mode, hyper alert, and just watching out, or just expecting the next thing to go wrong. When is the next thing gonna go wrong? When am I gonna get hurt next? You're sort of like looking for it and like searching for it so much that is you're normal. So in my family, seeing my dad get drunk every day, seeing my parents get in a fight, getting, them beating me for when they. Okay, so I think I better not mention that. Not yet. Okay, so for me, a lot of these distressing situations were normal. For example, seeing my dad get drunk every day. I've seen that since I was a child, so what's the big deal? It's normal. And then seeing him come home and have fight with my mom, them having arguments on like a daily basis for almost everything, having financial difficulties, financial strain. All these things were normal things for me. So I had no idea that these were not normal and these were actually causes of concern, and that I was having a difficult time as well. No one told me that. There was no one to watch out for me like that. I didn't know it, so I grew up like that. And then it went on to and that's the reason why when I was 20, when I was depressed, like the meltdown that I had, I've been depressed since I was a child actually. That's what I discovered. And I wouldn't say at 20 what I experienced was depression. At 20 what I shared that I experienced in my earlier episode was basically a meltdown. That means I just can't take it anymore. There's no meltdown, and then that's the reason why when I reached that point, I was still wondering like, what's wrong with me? Why do I have no energy? Because this is one very important thing about mental health. If your mental health is not okay, it shows in your body as well. It will manifest in your body as pain, as anxiety attacks, remember? As headaches, as sleeplessness, as no appetite or eating too much. The list just goes on. There's many ways that it shows itself in your body. Your brain and your mind is telling you that listen, pay attention, you're not okay, do something about it, but sadly we don't realize it because we're not used to it again. So we just sit down and wonder, what's going on, what happens, what's happening, what am I supposed to do, what did I do wrong? You start worrying instead of doing something about it. Instead of listening to your body, you start worrying, and then that leads to more issues, and eventually, if you're like me, you'll end up in the emergency department. But I hope no one will have to end up there like I did, which is the reason why I'm making these videos in the first place, right? To share my experiences with all of you out there, so that all of you can become more aware, and more educated about things relating to mental health and wellness. And so this is just one of the reasons that I'm sharing today, and there are still 6 more reasons that I have lined up, and because there is so much to explain for each point, I think I will be making each of them into one video. So I guess I'll stop here for the first video, and I'll see you again in my next video, where we'll be talking about seeing a psychiatrist. In our next video, we will be talking about seeing a psychiatrist, how to go about seeing a psychiatrist, and what we can expect when seeing a psychiatrist. Stay tuned.